See that? We're recording. We're going live on Facebook, and everybody on Facebook is just going to hear my voice just like it would be this, because I know what I look like. Ain't nobody want to look at me. I understand. All right. All right, here we go again. We're back in the book of Revelation, all right? All right, today is Thursday, August 29th, 2024. It's my little Bible study. We're here back at Humble Hearts. All right, and tonight, for the first time from this place, we're live on Facebook too, so they're going to see everything's on the screen just like you guys do. Hear me bumping my gums about everything. Britain, probably. All right, we are in our study to chapter 13, all right? Father, we ask just open eyes and open ears no matter where they are in Jesus' name. All right, we are finally to what I think one of the most interesting parts of the Bible, or the book of Revelation anyway. We're going to start dealing with these beasts that everybody's always talking about. All right, what is this stuff, okay? You know, in my life, I've heard a lot of stuff taught about these things. From one thing that you're looking for this beast to rise up out of the sea, just like it says. All right. If I remember right, the people that follow those kind of ideas where you interpret the Bible exactly as it is unless you're told to do otherwise, if I remember right, the concept's called hermeneutics. I could be wrong about that. That's just some baloney floating around in my head from somewhere back in the day. I don't remember really where it comes from, but I think that's right. All right. Well, I don't agree with it. The Bible, much of it's written in symbology. And if you take that symbology and throw it away just because you're going to think that there's this seven-headed monster going to climb up out of the Atlantic Ocean and tow up L.A., I don't agree with that. You see what I'm saying? One of the ways, I mean, this isn't even biblical. This is just kind of through history. One of the ways to convey a symbol through a long period of time is symbolically. All right? Often a symbol carries a meaning, you know, a lot deeper. I mean, even like this, you could tell that would be a symbolic, for me it is anyway, you know. Look at your flag, it's another symbol. All right? It conveys a lot of information just with the thought, or just with the sight of something, right? All right, a lot of the Bible's that way. Now, when something is not interpreted, feel free to put your twist on what you think it is. All right? But when it is interpreted, the wise choice is to take the interpretations given for you. All right? And most of the time, the good news is a lot of this confusing stuff, there's an interpretation given. And you hear a lot of times you won't hear them talk about the interpretation because they just want to talk about this because they're bumping their gums trying to take you from your money. All right, and trying to scare you to death with this book about how you're going to get chewed up and ate out and spit up and whatever. Blah, 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 blah. Okay? But let's just take a look at what it says. We're going to get deep into the symbols now, all right? Listen to what it says. Chapter 13, verse 1, And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea having 7 heads and 10 horns. And upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. That sounds scary, doesn't it? Like you got this monster going to turn stuff up, 7 heads. Sounds like something you can see out of a Disney movie, though. All right? How about reality? No, you don't see anything like that. So we automatically know we're dealing with a symbol. Right? It's kind of a stretch. Kind of not as much of a stretch, really. Okay? So let's find out what it is. All right? Now, the best way to do it is in chapter 13 of the book of Revelation. Let's just see. As you can see, I've been here before. All right, let's see. All right, let's just deal with heads first. All right. What does it say right here? I'm going to go back over here so I can read it. It's a lot easier from back here. And there's a mind which hath wisdom. All right. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sat. All right. Mountains, that don't get you anywhere. Heads equals mountains. What's that mean? All right. Now, the book of Zechariah will tell you. All right. In the book of Zechariah, there's an interpretation that deals with the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Right. Where they're sent into a northern country. All right, but at the beginning of the prophecy in Zechariah, these 2 countries, the north and the south, are described as mountains of brass. Okay? Well, again, we have plenty of mountains, right? All right, but how many mountains of brass do you see floating around? Not one. Okay, so we know we're dealing with a symbol. It goes on in Zechariah then to tell you that those mountains of brass, the very same mountains, are actually countries, regions where people speak different languages exist. All right, and in Zechariah, when we go to the north country, God's spirit is quieted in the north country. All right, what the prophecy's doing is it's checking us, all right, to see if it's time for the harvest is what's going on. All And it's not caught time in that prophecy. But none there. You have the mountains then again interpreted for you there. Look at the mountains are countries. All right, I'm going to back this up a little bit more. Verse 17, listen to what it says in verse 17, 12. So we're talking about horns, right? And the 10 horns which thou seest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. All right? Kings. All right? They have no kingdom as of yet. What hour are we talking about? Remember the name of it? The hour of temptation. Same one we've been talking about. Same one that says that there's silence in heaven about the space of half an hour. Why? Because the guy bumping his gums is here on earth. And when he shows up, he brings these 10 kings with him. All right, if you remember the prophecy in Daniel where he's seeing the image of Babylon, the feet are 10 toes, miry clay, right? Iron mixed with clay, two things that don't mix. All right? Well, that's just 10 kings set up that we're talking about. And when that white stone, who is Christ, smashes the feet of the image of Babylon at his base, brings down everything. All right? He will destroy these 10 kings at his return after the second advent. All right? But here we have, again, these horns are interpreted for you. It's not a mystery. They're kings. All right? Don't let anybody steal that away from you. All right? Now, here what we got. Verse 15, that's what it says. And he said unto me, the waters which thou seest, where the horse is, are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. All right, you've been hearing me talk about this since we started. All right, there it is. The waters are interpreted for you. What are they? They're people. But what can we understand about it? They're people that are gathered together under national banners that speak different languages. Okay? Does it begin to sound like anything we've been talking about? All right. But nonetheless, there it's interpreted for you. So let's go back to our lecture here. All right. So here we have it. Let's look at it again. And I stood upon the sand of the sea. All right. What's the sea? It's the people. I'm standing right there with the people. And I saw the beast rise up out of the sea, out of the people. Okay? What are we talking about? We're talking about the rise of nations. What did it say the mountains were? Oh, excuse me, I lost my place. The sea having 7 heads. 7 heads that are mountains, which Zechariah interprets as countries or nations. And upon the 10, having 10 horns. All right, and on the 10 horn, 10 crowns, and then on their heads written the name of blasphemy. What are they there doing? Jesus is in front of you. All right? You don't have any more blasphemy than that. But this is the setup for the first beast. All right? So what do you have? You have a beast that's comprised of 7 nations. All right? That makes a bid for world peace. All right? You've had people working in prophecy been talking about this for 2,000 years. All right? Now, so there's your first beast. It's not a big mystery what it is. All right, what are they doing? They're trying to bring peace. All right, you better pay attention because this setup for this right here is happening right now in front of our eyes. Okay? Got this war in Israel that's threatening to span. All right, it already has, actually. Look for the whole world to skin against them. All right? Something bad's going to happen somewhere along the line. All right, and when it does, it enables this beast to rise. Okay? It comes up out of the people, comprised of 7 nations, and eventually have 10 crowns, 10 kings that have no power as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast, right? An hour of temptation. All right, so let's move on. 2. Long enough on that one. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. All right, people get all wound up about these, all right? Let's just look at these. The reason why he's going to give you these animals is because they have traits. All right, the leopard spots never change. It's one of the strongest cats in the animal kingdom. All right, when it's in its natural environment, it's invisible. Okay, it's a very dangerous animal. It has feet like a bear. Think about bears here. You remember in grade school when you talk about early North America, the grizzlies that we had that were so big, all right, and so powerful that with one crush of a paw, they could smash a bison's skull. All right? I wonder why you use the term bear like a bear's foot. They're powerful. All right? They're invisible. Their spot doesn't change. Okay? You get the point? And the mouth of a lion. All right, what about a lion? Look at how lions kill. Look at the natural example you give. First of all, it's them girls. And watch them girls. All right, because in the lion kingdom, there's some women that are the hunters. All right. And buddy, when she gets a hold of your throat, she's going to hold you there until you die of asphyxiation. But before you die, your eyeballs are going to be registering the fact that her friends are eating you alive. Okay? Kind of gruesome, but you get the point. Remember, they're mad. They're going to hell. These 10 kings that come with him want you to go with them. Why? Because they've already been condemned. All right? You want to know why they want women? They're looking a way to get around hell. They've been looking at it since the days of Noah. That's why they came. That's why they want kids. They need a way to escape this punishment that they know is coming. And that's why they're back here. They got one last shot to get it right, and they know it. And it's also why it says that these same kings hate the dragon. All right? They hate him because they followed him after 2 heaven and earth ages. They followed him to their death, and they know it. All right? So, buddy, when they come back, they ain't going to play all lovey, Jesus, happy, convert you. But in the end, they want you to go with them, and it's all a lie. Okay? Well, now you see why you use these beasts like this. Buddy, that gives you an idea of what it's like, right? Verse 3. And I saw one of the heads again are nations, right? As it was wounded to death. And his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wandered after the beast. Well, let's break it down our symbols again. So one of the heads, one of the nations, as it was wounded to death. All right, you got a beast there, 7 nations working together to bring peace. One of them drops out, pulls out of the pack. Okay? This is what the deadly wound is that the beast receives, because that's where it gets its strength. 7, spiritual completeness. 7 strongest nations in the world. All right? All pull together. One of them says, I'm not doing this, and pulls out. And when that does, that's when the Antichrist appears. Right then. He puts his peace pact back together on the spot with his prince. Listen to what it says. Verse 4. And they worshiped the dragon. And we remember we'd been through him. That old devil, the serpent, the dragon. All the same person is still Lucifer. All right, his Hebrew name is Halel. All right, it means the morning star. Okay? Now, he puts that bad bear back together. All right? And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. That 7-headed nation, building world peace, he gives them all the power. And they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him? Think about it. Okay, we studied Ezekiel's wheels in here. All right? What about if the fallen angels show up with so many of those that it looks like nobody can stand against them? All right? Well, that's some stuff to think about. All right, imagine thousands of those showing up. I keep telling you all the time that the Antichrist is going to show up. And he's going to say, I'm here to take you away. And it's going to look like he can do it. All right? There's no way that he can fool everyone unless he looks like he can actually pull it off. All right, you follow the thought? Okay? And then what's he going to say? I've said it before. We're going to do it again. That's what he's going to say. He's going to say, little girl, if your mom and your daddy doesn't believe I'm Jesus, you need to let me know so I can help him. All right? Because I don't want to kill him. You love him. Imagine that. Imagine that little baby right there. That little freak using that thing to get to you. All right? Now, that's how the devil works. You want to know where the dirty, dark places is? That's how it is. When he twists love and makes it into something evil. All right? And it's something he's going to pull. It's a little chill game he's going to do right in front of our eyes. Okay? But, remember, that's the point. We studied this before. The point of this is so that those people, so that little baby, if it gave you up to the Antichrist, you got to remember the fact that you were given up to the Antichrist would be ordained from the beginning of this heaven and earth age, and the fact that that child would give you up is also a part of that ordination. All right? It's just as ordained as the people that would deliver. Think about this. Think about Judas. All right? You want an example of what that is like? That's our brother Judas. People try to come down on Judas. It ain't going to be me. Thank God for Judas had a backbone. All right? Thank God. What did Christ tell him? Buddy, you go do what you got to do. They already talked about it. Does that sound like a man holding a grudge? Not to me. All right? But without our brother Judas, we don't have that same grace that we just taste here. All right? Without that. All right? So that negative is just as important. All right? You get how this works? And that's how God works. All right? So you got the devil on one side twisting love, but you got God on the other side untwisting it. All right? Because it's not in vain. But nonetheless, all right? And they worshiped the dragon, right? So we did that already. Who was able to make war. Verse 5. And there was given them a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 40 and 2 months. Sound familiar? We've been talking about this 42 months since we started this book. Halfway through the hour of temptation. All right? What does that mean? That means that this guy doesn't heal this deadly wound of this beast until halfway through. When it's silent in heaven, because he showed up in here, making a splash. Okay? Now, he opens his mouth speaking great blasphemies and he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. All right, how does he do that? He's standing there in the temple, or where the temple used to be at least. All right? Look, I've returned. I'm here. Now worship me. And then that's when the rest of it goes, gets shot down. All right? Now, verse 7. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints. That's you people. The ones that understand that the Antichrist comes first. All right? He wants you above all. Because you're the big thorn in the side because everybody else he already has. Remember when we were talking about angels? 1/3 fell with Lucifer in the beginning. Wormwood pulls another third when he shows up with bitterness. So the only one is the third that's left. All right? But nonetheless, that's a whole other story in itself. But nonetheless, he opens his mouth to blaspheme against God in his name in heaven. Verse 7, and it was given unto him to make war against the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds, tongues, and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names were not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. We worked that to death. Okay? That is from before the casting down of the world. That is Genesis chapter 1, verse 2. Before the earth was destroyed, that's when those names were written in that book. All right? The baby and yours, if you're one of them. That's a totally fictitious and made up scenario, too, by the way. Okay? But you get the point. Because it could be him. Or it could be you. We don't know. But we'll find out. Because we're all going to stand here together and go through it. All right? Now, verse 9. And if any man hath an ear, let him hear. And he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, and he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience of the faith of the saints. All right? All that's saying is there's some people that are destined to do some stuff, and that's all got to go down. Because there still are martyrs that are actually giving up their life for the Christian faith. I mean, we don't see very much of them, but that doesn't mean that they don't exist in other places. China's one of the most persecuted places, but Christianity is on the rise there unbelievably. They have a very tech-savvy group of children running around, all right? And word can be passed around China very, very fastly, very, very fast. But nonetheless, they also suffer great persecution to do these things if they're caught. I was a long time ago, I was in the Marine Corps with a guy. He's from Arkansas, and his mom and dad were missionaries. This is one of the toughest people I've ever met in my life. I ain't no joke, but this kid carried some psychological scars, and this is because of it. But they were missionaries, and he remembers being a kid doing caravans, smuggling Bibles into mainland China. And he remembers being stopped and searched, and if they'd have found them, they'd have killed all of them on the spot. I mean, no joke. He'll tell you stories about it. He can tell you, that's long before he ever joined the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps was like a step down in the adrenaline level, apparently, compared to what he used to do. I mean, But man, I'll tell you what, you couldn't wake this guy up. If you had to wake up and you had to throw something at him, because if he could get his hands on you, he would literally choke you to death before he woke up and knew what was going on. We all knew it. And it was because of that kind of stuff. So I don't recommend doing that with your children. but nonetheless, that's just a little bit for information. But nonetheless, there are people that are ordained that things have to happen. All right? Now, here we go, verse 11. Here we go with the second beast, though. There's two beasts in the book of Revelation. The first one was the political beast with the 7 heads. But when that beast receives a deadly wound and it's healed by this guy right here. Listen to what it says. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb. All right? Well, it looks like, who else got 2 horns like a lamb? Who do we call the lamb, right? So it looks a little bit like Jesus. Get my point? Remember, there's 2 morning stars. All right? This is what he says. And he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Why? Because when he opens his pie hole, it's Lucifer's voice that's coming out. Okay? What's he do? Let's see what it says. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders. What's that? That's miracles. You can translate that straight to miracles, all right? That just means you're going to stand there and wonder, how did that happen? Okay? But you can translate that to miracle, all right? It's these miracles that he does that's what deceives people. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire, is pure, come down from heaven onto the earth and the sight of men. That's lightning, all right? And he said, when Elijah called fire from heaven, he's calling lightning. All right, you get it, buddy. That makes a different scenario. Remember Elijah having them dump all this water on the sacrifice? And he knew what was going to happen. All right, and called down fire from heaven. Well, what do? You mix electricity and water. It makes a pretty good little bzzz. And no wonder there wasn't anything left. All right, remember, that sacrifice was gone, the altar was gone, the water was gone. All right, so, but he'll snap his fingers and lightning come down. Now, listen, somebody back then, that should just drive you nuts. That would drive somebody nuts now. Well, let me tell you something. We know what lightning is. All right? What? What's lightning? Lightning is a potential difference in the ground and the air. All right? When the difference gets too great, an arc is formed and lightning strikes. It's not a miracle. It's a natural thing. But this freak is going to look like he commands nature. But you know what? In Vegas, you can go to Vegas and you can see people shoot some fire out of some lightning out of all parts of their body on a stage, all right? It's not a miracle. It may look like it to most people, but to you, you should know better. Because you're going to know by the means of these miracles, that's the deception that he brings. Right? Walking on water. You ever hear anybody walking on water? You're ready. You'll see it again. All right? Talk about cleansings. Talk about healings. You'll see it again. All of it will have a price. I can fix your cancer, but it's going to cost you. All right? At this point, you only got 2.5 months left. All right? So if you got a prognosis for cancer greater than 2.5 months, you might as well just keep your cancer because it's going away anyway. Okay? Because at the second advent, you got what? You have that in the twinkling of an eye moment when all flesh is turned back into its spiritual nature. That cancer don't mean a damn thing in your spiritual body. All right? Nothing. All right? So don't be fooled. If you're sick when this freak shows up, you tell him keep his crap you're going on with your life until it ends of a natural cycle like it's supposed to, where the transfiguration occurs. All right? But if you're looking for strength, hold on to that, because he will use that. Not just that, but what if your baby's sick? What do you think a mama will do for its baby? Not much. It won't happen. Ain't that right? That's right. And that sick freak will use it to get to you and to get to that baby. Okay? So know how this freak works. All right. Verse 14, and deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of the miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, and they that should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by the sword and did live. Make an image. What's the Bible say first thing? Write out the law. Don't make an idol. All right? Starts all of it out with when I came to Mount Horeb, you saw nothing there that you could make an idol about. You saw nothing. You didn't see anything from heaven. You didn't see anything from earth. It was just smoking loud. All right, you heard voices. You heard people speaking. But you didn't see nothing you could make an image of. All right, this is an image. Like we're looking at an image up here, like we was talking about earlier. All right, so you got an image being set up by this man, by this fake Jesus. All right, if it has the whole world full, except for a handful of people, all right, and then that's where it gets fun. All right, now why? Because when this freak shows up, if you know who he is, he can't touch you. He might manipulate your child. He might manipulate your husband. All right, but he can't hurt you. As a matter of fact, the only way that you can screw up is you swear allegiance to him. All right, now think about this. This freak wants everybody to see him. He's always wanted to sit on the mercy seat and dispense mercy because he thought he was better than God. All right? He wants people to see him. When he shows up, you want to bet there's some things that automatically become free just for living. One of them's going to be electricity, the other one's going to be internet. All right? And you know why I say this? It's because he wants everybody to look at him. All right? Not only does that, but when these people are delivered up, he wants everybody to watch. Okay? So, now, what's wrong with doing that? Nothing if you don't have to bow to him and call him God. All right? Because I want to watch too. And so will you. We're all going to. All right? We're going to sit right here and we're going to see it. And we're going to watch it unfold. And this book that we're studying, line by line, verse by verse, gives you all the clues to walking through it that you need without, I hate it when that happens, without losing or staining your white garments, remember, which are your righteous acts. You soil them, you don't make it to the marriage supper of the Lamb, you go into the millennium, we try again at the end of it. All right, which we'll get all into that by the end of this book. All right. Now we're going to go another verse and then we're going to stop because I've already probably went long. The time is about 30 minutes. I don't want to kill you guys. Because if I continue with verse 16 and the mark, well, then we're going to be here another hour and a half. And welcome to dealing with me, people. That's just kind of the way it is, all right? But I'm in no hurry to teach this to you, all right? Because I want you to chew it up in small enough pieces that some of it sticks, all right? Because it doesn't do any good. Huh?
We only got 2 months.
Well, no, nothing happened yet. There ain't nothing happened yet. All right? But here, let's look at one more verse. Look what it says. Verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. All right? Well, it says it right there. He's going to kill you, right? What, spiritually, right? He wants to kill you, right? He's dead. They know it. They want you to go with him. All right, but what does it say in chapter 9? Remember what it said? So those people that are sealed, don't touch one of them. Yeah. Right? Yeah.
Do you think when it says the power to give life under the image of the beast, that, if you worship it, then you'd be able to buy, sell, and trade in that exchange?
Yes.
If you don't, then you can't.
Then you can't. That's right.
That's
right. They'll take it away from you, right. Now, you might get electricity and internet because he wants you to see. He don't give a damn if you eat. All right, now to eat, you don't have to swear to him. Get what I'm getting at? Not all of it's free. That's just an opinion of mine. I can't back that up out of the Bible. That's just what I'm thinking about it because it makes sense. Because the thing he's always wanted was sit on that mercy seat in front of everybody and say, you're guilty and you're innocent and you're guilty. That's what he's wanted. So that's what he's going to want from us. The same thing. Watch him, praise him, things like that. All right? But yes, you're bouncing right on. That's exactly the right thought. Then that's why we're going to talk about the mark tomorrow night. All right? The mark of the beast. Because that's probably the most misunderstood thing that you're going to run into in the book of Revelation. That and what it means to count. And we're going to cover both of those in the second half of chapter 13. Start working on 14 probably. All right, so there's a whole bunch you got coming up. Chewing up this mark's real important, all right? Because you're going to be marked one way or another. There's only 2 people in the book of Revelation. There's 2 kinds. Those that are sealed and those that bear the mark of the beast. There is no in the middle. All right? You will pick a side. All right? So it's might as well be on the winning side. All right? All right, any questions? Well, I'm good. I'm just so good that nobody